Hi, welcome to Confessions. I'm your hostess of light, Jenny Watson. Tonight we'll be talking about how our emotions and our attachments to our memories and our past can actually be trapped in our bodies, causing us a whole bunch of physical, mental, spiritual manifestations and blocks. So it's important that as we evolve as humans, that we have an understanding of what holds us back and that we work towards releasing that which no longer serves us so that we can step into a brighter future and one that is more present-based. So joining me to chat about this tonight is an awesome woman, April Fontana. She is the Oracle healer and founder of the Oracle Method. Her message out there and her mission is to awaken people to the power of energy healing, and I could tell you from personal experience how amazing this woman really is. So it's an honor to have you on the show tonight, April. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Jenny? Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So welcome to Confessions. Are you ready to bare your soul?
Yes, I'm ready. Do it.
I love it. So before we get into everything, I just want to say that, take this opportunity to say that when I first reached out to April and she was really excited by coming on, she helped me by giving me an energy reading myself. And that was so that I completely understood what she was about. And I got to tell you and give you gratitude right here in front of everybody for how you changed my life with that one single session. And she helped me remove emotional blocks and identify things that were not good for my body and, affirm things that I already knew, but it was nice to hear from somebody who didn't really know who I was. So thank you very much for what you did for me.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much. You're very welcome.
So let's get into it, shall we? I'm interested to hear how you became an energy healer. And you said something about being a Buddhist had led you here. How is that?
Well, I chant Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. I'm an SGI Buddhist, which is the original Buddhism. It's not about praying to statues or asking any type of entity for the power that we have within. It's more scientific, like you're saying Nam-myoho Renge Kyo out to the universe, and your cause and the causes that you make basically go out into the universe, and like a boomerang comes back at you. So one day I was chanting, and I went through a lot of stuff in my life, people passing and things like that, and it drove me crazy that I couldn't help them. And one day I was chanting, and the word Myoho means mystic law. It's the same as what somebody would call source, vortex. It's the same thing. And I was chanting because I have a mandala, and I was chanting, and we focus. It's just a focus point, and I was focusing on Myoho, and my being just flew through the word, and I ended up in what everybody calls source energy. And so I'm like, wow, what the heck is this? My life just exploded like, oh, okay. I thought our lives were like this big, and it's like multi-dimensional, all kinds of things going on. So, I was looking at my cat one day. I knew her minerals were off, and the gift or whatever you want to call it, ability. Um, I hydrated her. I didn't know what I was doing. I was sitting like, it was just with my mind. I was sitting about 3 feet from her, and I was just staring at her and staring at her. And I was thinking, why am I staring at her? And all of a sudden, I ended up seeing inside of her, and her blood and her organs. And I was like, okay, well, now that I'm in here, let me just fix the minerals. And I did, and I had it tested, and I was like, wow. And then the next major thing that actually got me to become the healer that I am now is my friend, also a Buddhist, Patrick. He called me and he said, well, if you could do that, you could fix my back. And I said, your back? And he said, yeah, I've been in 3, accidents. He was always in pain and everything. And I fixed his back. And I was like, is this real or what's going on here? So then I did 200 people for free. And at that point, I knew it was real. And then it's just been getting more and more intense. Like now it's multidimensional when I go into somebody's space and all that. So,
Amazing. So how did you come to be known as the Oracle Healer?
well, Okay, just get it over with, Safa. Say hi. Mwah.
Hi, Kitty.
She's a pangolin. She's a little nuts. All my friends said, call yourself the Oracle Healer, and I said, no, I don't want to do that. And they're like, you're not. It's not arrogant. You're not calling yourself an Oracle. Just you're an Oracle Healer. I'm telling you, the Oracle Healer. So after about 15 people said to call myself that, I was chanting about that as well, and then I started to see the word Oracle all over the place. Whether I got on the internet, driving by in the street, and I go, okay, okay, universe. All right, I'll do it. So that's where the name came from.
That's very cool. I got the chills as you were telling that story. I love
Really?
it. Yeah.
Cool.
Usually when I get the chills, that's my personal confirmation of something, and that's cool. So then you went on to be the founder of the Oracle Method. Now, what is that exactly?
Well, I didn't. I knew for me it was very like, wow, I'm doing this, even though I know, it's the universe and I don't have all this knowledge of anatomy and all that. But it's when I actually started seeing people, like I never took classes, and I learned everything going straight to the vortex. I never looked up anything on Google. One day somebody said to me, what's your technique? Like, what's the heritage of it and all that? And so I'm looking and I'm looking, and I just like sat back in my seat. I was like, it's not, it's nowhere. So I didn't know what to do. I felt very odd. I kind of felt lonely, like, well, what do I do? So, so that's where that came from, I just was, because I'm not, and I tell people this that are my clients, and they're like, well, I want to learn what you do, and I go, I do one-on-one classes, and basic stuff like aura cleansing, grounding, but then a little energy work, like if your stomach hurts, like some color therapy and all that. But I want, this method to spread, because even other healers, I don't want to say the type, but there's a type of healing where you're laying on a table mostly, and they're putting their hands over you and they're feeling for something, and they feel something's wrong in that spot, but they can't visually see it, and so they don't know what it is, so they're basically putting source energy in that spot. But what I'm doing is, like, I just put the person like wherever, like I'll just put you right here, and I have to see with my eyes closed. And I just close my eyes, and you're just like right there, and I can just feel everything that's, going on. And
So you can actually see inside the bodies and pinpoint exactly what it is, and that's off.
I see everything in the body. That I only see what's wrong in the body, because otherwise I'm seeing too many things. So like, I'll just give you an example. If I'm in somebody's aura, the first thing is to clean out the aura. Second thing is open up all the chakras, pull out all these emotions and all this, and then they're kind of prepped, I guess. And
is that like pre-op?
Yeah, really. Well, yeah. People wanted me to call myself like a psychic surgeon, and I said, no, I'm not calling myself that. Because when you think of psychic surgery, I looked it up, and I'm like, oh my God, there's like, it looks like, they're really in there and they're pulling stuff out. It's not like that. They don't even feel it. Some people feel my energy, like they feel like a tingly or warm, but it's very few that somebody will actually feel me, fixing their neck or something like that. So
I actually did, and it freaked me out at first, but then I felt, yeah, I was one of the crazies, and I'm like, are you in my back right now? She's like, yeah. I'm like, I feel you. And I'm such I'm so squeamish and hypersensitive.
You'll feel me like you'll feel, it's not like you're going to feel my fingers going like this.
No.
You'll feel a sense of something, but you're not going to feel me cracking, fixing your shoulders or your hips. That's another thing. After I do the, like the bone structure and all that, like I did with my friend, then I go into organs. I'm also a medical intuitive. I'm going to see what vitamins are lacking. I balance the water and the minerals in the body. It's unlimited, and that's the main thing that I
Mhm.
want, other healers that took a lot of classes and things, the whoever taught them said, okay, this is how it goes, this is what it's able to do, blah blah blah. I want everybody's mind to open to, it's not limited. Nothing, actually nothing is limited, and I get sorry. I get really sad when I see like somebody's gonna go into surgery or whatever, and all I had to do was like go in there and clean out the gallbladder, and they're having the doctors were telling you got to get your gallbladder removed, or a couple tablespoons of apple cider vinegar in the morning will disintegrate gallstones. So it's just it's really sad, but it's great because I'm going to spread it. I'm no matter what I have to do, and you're the start of it, and I thank you again, really, truly.
You're so welcome. And just to share an experience I had of mine, where when she was in talking about my body and everything, she said like I'm not digesting things, and
Right.
I've been having this reaction where I thought, oh, maybe I was eating too fast because I would like physically vomit sometimes. Sorry to get so personal, but and I thought it was like either because I waited too long to eat or because I was just eating way too fast and whatever choking it down. But it turns out that I wasn't digesting properly, like through my whole system. And she recommended I take digestive enzymes. Wouldn't you know it, I've been taking those things since she recommended it, and I have not had a problem. Now, I haven't changed my eating habits at all, like in
Right.
that respect, but I felt it immediately work.
Right.
It was like my body said, oh, thank God you got that message because you were hurting me. Like, not that necessarily, I was eating some things that weren't good for me, which, was an affirmation, but the things that I were eating that were okay to eat were just not being digested. So ever since that, I mean, it really is amazing when she says she takes you on, it's unlimited. I mean, she went from uncovering the darkest wound from my childhood to you shouldn't be eating wheat and dairy to you've got digestive problems and oh, I see these little blooming flowers in you. You're ready to take off, and seeing me
Yeah.
in something that I shared with maybe two people in my future. It was like holy, whatever I needed, the message I needed was received.
Yeah.
And so,
I think you were holding stress in your stomach, weren't you?
yeah,
So just talking about, everybody holds it somewhere.
yeah,
It's either the neck or the stomach or wherever. But just talking to you about it, that's another thing. And just like releasing it and pulling it out right. I can tell right when I'm clairvoyant, obviously. So I can tell right when I can feel, like if I ask you to release something, I can feel you doing it and at what point you're at. That I can't explain that.
right. What I think was really great about you is that you were raw and intense. And, not that you weren't gentle in any way, but it's like, I'm here to do a job. I'm going to do it. Work with me. And it was kind of like, I don't want to say it was like a take no shit attitude, but it was really like, I'm here to do my job. Work with me. Let me do it. And when I surrendered, because there was a point where I was like, I was not letting go. And you're like, let it go unless you want this to stay in your body and wreak havoc. And I'm like, finally, like, okay. And I let it. And I will never look at that memory the same again. I still think of it now. I'm like, what was my problem? It's, and I think it's important for people to understand that it's not that it's not gentle, but it's intense and it gets to the root of that. So, why do you prefer to work this way with your clients?
I'm intense. I don't know what to say. I'm just an intense person. So with anything, I attack it. I want it, and I'm an empath. So much so, like sometimes it depends on the person. If I allow myself to feel their energy, like say I'm working on your stomach, or say I'm not even working on your stomach, say I'm just feeling around, and all of a sudden I get a stomach ache. I know that's your stomach, not mine, because I didn't have a stomach ache a second ago, or a headache or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm feeling your pain, and I've been like that since I was born and didn't know what was going on, you know. So I'm feeling your pain, and I don't want you to have it so bad that sorry.
That's okay, honey.
That's okay, because that's why I'm a healer now, because I'm like this, you know. I don't want you to have that pain so bad that that's why I'm intense, and I'm gonna get it out. That's what it is. I've seen, so you know, I had 5 people pass over in 6 months. I dealt with a lot of stuff, you know, and I couldn't do anything. And now that I'm able to do it, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it, no matter what. I want everyone, and it's important for the client to learn how to do things, you know, on their own. You know, like if they're whatever, they get a headache or they feel nauseous, you know, I teach them how to, you know, do little things to help themselves, and then they feel empowered, and that's, you know, that's all about self-love too, you know.
Absolutely. So that kind of speaks what my introduction was about, how we store their emotions, we store the memories in our bodies, and we have physical manifestations of it, whether it's something as simple as a headache or something more progressed as, say cancer, it's some kind of, I believe anyway, it's some kind of emotion or memory either from this life or past life
That
that's trapped. And part of what your job is that you find these like hidden blocks and you pull them out like through either the aura cleansing or the chakra healing or just the mineral rebalance and all that, because you with me you found it in all different areas whenever it spoke to you saying like, let me out. She's keeping me trapped in here, let me out.
exactly. You know, when I as soon as I approach somebody's aura, you know, I always go a little slow, like, okay, let me just feel a little bit, because there's some crazy stuff going on sometimes. um, um, and then now, even since, you know, I talked to you, when I gave you a session, it's multidimensional now. It's like, here's the person's energy, and here's, you know, people that have passed, that are related. Sometimes I'll see a string, and it's going back to, because there's a reason for it. I'll see the ancestors, and then this family karma is going on, and all this kind of stuff, which I totally relate to, anything to do with karma, because I'm a Buddhist. So, and then on the right, I'll see, like, you know, past life. Well, they're not really past, they're parallel. So some are active, some aren't. There might be something influencing the person. Like sometimes I get people that are just really, really depressed, and then I'll past life, and then I'll talk to them about it, and or sometimes they see it. I don't do any kind of hypnotherapy or anything like that. I'll start explaining it, and they're like, "Oh, that's why I always resonate with when I see this type of thing, or when I see England, or," and they start to, it's like opening up a can. As soon as I say something like that, they're like, "I want to see what that is," and then they're feeling it, I'm feeling it, and then we work on that. And I work on animals the same way, only it's not all complicated like that, because they think different. Yeah, they think different than us. It's not like, you know, all these emotions going on.
Really, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So let's do something fun. Let's show people exactly what you do. Are you up for that?
Yeah. What am I doing?
um, I have a bit of a headache and I'm not sure of the source of it or how to get rid of it. So you want to get inside my head?
Sure, let me
It's
do
scary in there, but
it. Now, no, I don't have to use anything. I could just use my hands if I want. But if something is like deep rooted, I like to use, like, you know, a quartz. Don't worry, you won't feel a thing, Jenny. Okay. Okay, so
and whatever comes up on fair game. So whatever.
okay. Okay, I'm just tapping into your energy, making believe I'm not on a camera and all that stuff. Okay. So, okay, you're here. Part of this is lucky. This is a B12 thing. You're dehydrated, so I'm just going to put some violet rain in your head. So when I'm doing this, I'm like, I'm seeing your head and I'm seeing whatever I decide to use. I'm seeing it go in there. That's why my eyes are closed. I can't see it like that. B12. This is also stress related. This is selenite. It just gets rid of stress. Your temples are too tight. Just kind of popping out the stress. Just getting rid of the stress. Now when I do this type of thing, I start to see stuff, like why you have the headache.
Mm-hmm.
I see your kids running around and some kind of park or something. Were you at a park like recently?
Yeah, earlier today I was at a party.
No, I'm seeing a park, some kind of park with, I'm seeing a lot of colors. I don't know if you were at some kind of event recently. Not a park, like an amusement thing. That's what it looks like.
Not recently, like last year, and we're going somewhere this year.
You're going somewhere this
Stressed?
year,
I'm actually stressed. That's not something I usually stress about.
and you're stressed about it?
No, not usually.
Hmm.
But I do feel it in my temples.
Yeah, I just pulled it out of there. Okay, I'm just gonna go. I feel like you have some allergies on going up your nose. And then I see stuff come off, and then I just get rid of it. Your head is not on straight.
I think many people would agree with that.
This is partly turning you around. There's a vertebrae in your neck. How's that?
Better, lighter. Lighter.
Yeah, you feel heavy.
Hey.
Feel...
No, just kidding.
No, I'm talking about your energy, girl. Your head. Your just head feels.
Yeah. It feels lighter, though.
How about now?
Definitely better. I mean, I still feel flush in my cheeks, but this part is so much lighter than it was.
What's the flush in the cheeks all about?
I don't know, maybe I had too much sun today.
But is it internal or is it... Let me see.
I don't know. No, we don't have to do that. We can just keep moving on.
All right. Well, you just talk to me and I'll finish this.
Okay, you're so funny.
I have this.
So I think that was pretty neat. I'm gonna have to watch this back to see how she actually did it because we did it over the phone.
I just did something in your cheeks. You're feeling something happened yesterday, and you're feeling stressed out about. I'm seeing. I don't want to get too personal, but I don't want to say exactly what it is.
Something happened yesterday?
So, whatever you were doing yesterday, something triggered something else, and that's why I was seeing this amusement thing, and it'll get all complicated. So, I mean...
I'm just trying to remember what I did yesterday.
Yeah. After we're done, then I'll just, I'll finish you up, girl.
What the hell did I do yesterday? Oh, I was at a party.
At a party?
I was at a party.
Oh, well, that explains it. That's why you're dehydrated. You drank, right?
Oh, it was all colorful and full of 4th of July stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, uh-huh. Okay.
So that's why you're dehydrated.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm dehydrated, I'm sure. I'm going to drink some water. All right, so that was fabulous. Thank you. Like, that's just like a touch. I mean, you worked on me for like 2.5 hours. And, like, I have to, like, everything shifted for me. My whole state of being, like, decisions that I've been trying to make but kept letting patterns repeat.
Right.
Stopped, and I've been decisive and sticking to my guns and not self-sabotaging. I mean, we're talking health, relationships, family, like across the board, because these two huge things that were weighing on me were brought out and like understanding like you're right about the B12 because that is like the one thing I didn't do, but I now take, you know, the calcium, magnesium, potassium pill. I take the digestive enzymes, and I felt a recalibration of my body. And the B12, I guess I'm still lacking if that's what you're picking up.
Major.
But
It's like, see, I'll see, you know how I see it. If I'm looking at your head, I'll see like a bottle of B12, like as if you would
hmm
see it like that,
right.
and that tells me what it is.
Interesting, interesting,
But
interesting.
it is all about patterns. That's why people, you know, sometimes they want me to do a reading, you know, and it's all about well, you get a reading anyway when I'm in your body, you know, but they want a different type. And it's more about showing them what patterns they're doing or what, you know, stuff that they're not seeing. It's not about like, you know, what's going to happen next week, because you know I don't believe in that kind of reading, you know.
It's yeah, that's more of like an ego reading, whereas you're coming with an expectation more than you go in and let your body and your soul do the talking and tell you what kind of reading that you need. And that's
Yeah,
kind of what you bring out. It's like, okay, I'm going to listen to what you're not listening to, what you're ignoring within
yeah,
yourself.
exactly. And I see it. I see it like a movie's playing.
That's
But if
amazing.
I'm in reading mode and I'm not in the, you know, in the person's energy, and they ask me something, all of a sudden I just, you know, it's like a movie playing. You know, that's not abnormal. That's clairvoyant. So
Yeah,
that's
that's
how it.
amazing. All right, girlfriend, it is now confession time. Are you ready?
Oh, okay.
So you had mentioned before that a major turning point in your life was when you had 5 people pass, but what I don't think you brought up is one of them was your mother, and this all happened within a 6-month period. And I know it was must have been very traumatic for you. So what happened during this time, and how did you pull through it?
Mm. Well, um, the only way I pulled through that is chanting. I had you know all my SGI, you know, members, leaders, and they would, you know, I'd just be like laying there because my mother was like um everything to me. You know, we were like twins. You know, she was like my, you know, my sister. I mean, I have a sister, but she was like my sister, my best friend, my mom, you know. And when she passed, it wasn't an easy passing, and it really did something to me because I couldn't do anything. You know, I couldn't help. And so after she passed, I honestly, I didn't know how I was going to make it. I just didn't. Um, I went into like a semi-depression, and I just had to pull all the love that I just had to realize that me and my mom are one, you know, even though physically I can't see her, you know, now it's a different story. I mean, I don't see her physically, but I know when she's around and all that and stuff like that. But I didn't know how I was going to survive. That was the absolute worst thing in my life, and it was from chanting Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, and I mean hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, and so that's how I pull through that, because chanting gives you like the most strength. You know how people are talking about, you know, this person's aware, this person isn't, or whatever. You know, when you chant, you get in a state of Buddhahood, which is people that are not Buddhist would call it like the highest self-awareness point. You know, and you can look at it and then you realize, well, you know, I signed up for this. You know, I signed up to deal with this, and I know that's why I'm a healer, mostly because of my mom. You know, so
That's amazing. I cannot even imagine the grief that you have went through, and I'm inspired by your strength and your ability to take what could have been like a really rock bottom downfall spiral and turn it into a positive transformation in your life where you've given back and you started healing others.
right.
So kudos to you. So what for people going through this kind of intense kind of grief and not knowing how to channel it, and perhaps they don't chant, what kind of advice would you give to people going through this?
Um, well, you know, the biggest thing that helps somebody is if if they call me up and they want a healing, because they talk about stuff coming out of the chakras, a lot of trauma and all that kind of stuff. You need to get balanced again. And if somebody is past that wants to say something, as soon as I go in the aura, they're gonna be there, and that little communication going on really releases a lot of stress. I didn't have that when my mother passed, but I felt her. I felt her right away, so.
That's a great story. I mean, I'm sorry you went through that, but I love how you just accepted saying, you signed up for it and everything, and thank you
that,
for being an
yeah,
inspiration.
oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
And we are already at the end of our show, so to wrap it up, yeah, I
Okay,
told you it would go fast. You never even know. So to wrap things up, what final message would you have out for this world? What would you say is important? Like, what's your message, mission? What do you think people should hear from you?
Well, my ultimate mission is world peace. That is called Kosen-rufu in Japanese and in Buddhism. And it goes along with me healing and spreading it. The biggest thing I'd like to ask is for people to open their minds a little bit, because, well, a lot. Because, like, some people don't even believe we're energy. You know what I mean? And then I'll say, well, how are we walking around? How are we moving if we're not energy? And they're like, I don't know. So it's like some people are really, really aware and stuff, but some people, I still get like looked at, believe me, I get looked at funny. What are you wearing all that stuff for? And what's all this stuff? Even if I heal somebody sometimes, they're like, whoa, that freaked me out. There's so much more out there. That it's not just like we're not in this like little box. It's multidimensional. It's absolutely beautiful, and oh my goodness, it's overwhelming me just thinking about it, because there's such a beautiful world out there. It's not all. I understand the bad things that are going on in the world. I understand, all the things that people are posting and stuff. But all we have to do is spread the love. Will overpower all this negative stuff. It's too much negative stuff. You can't hold on and think of the world as everything's negative, everything's ruined, everything's this and that. Do your part to help, But my biggest thing definitely is just, if you can just expand your mind. Like, if someone doesn't believe in energy, all they got to do is like pull out their arms, pull it in real quick, pull it out again, pull it in, and you'll start to feel a friction in there, and you'll be like, what's that? Bam. Like, what is that? Aren't you curious what that feeling is there? I know you want to do it, Jenny. But you already believe in it, so.
Yeah, I know. But I still want to feel the cool friction. It's been a while.
Yeah. Well,
that was really, really cool. So thank you so much for joining me this evening. It's been an honor and a pleasure. And if people want to check you out, where can they find you?
Oh, theoraclehealer.com.
Awesome.
Shall they, awesome. Or they could just go there.
Nope, I'm going to actually post a link in the video, underneath the video, so when people reach it, they can click on you and go find you right away.
Okay.
Awesome. So thank you again.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. The fabulous April Fontana, everybody. And I am Jenny Watson. I'm a personal empowerment coach. You can find me at www.jennifer-watson.me. If you're interested in coming on my show and confessing to me, you can find me at jenny@jennifer-watson.me. So thank you for tuning in this week and every week. Join me next week as I interview Karen Thompson. She is a dear friend of mine and an inspirational woman. She's a healer, she's a light worker, and she's what she calls a nowist. What is that? You're going to have to tune in to find out. So join me next week at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. I had Central in my head because of the whole, what TV usually does, so sorry about that. So 5:30 p.m. Pacific. Hope to see you there. Namaste and embrace your power.